Solo cruising and travel. Everything you need to know. Stay tuned. My guest today is Rosemary Bartello of Cruise Holidays Oakville, located in Ontario, Canada. Rosemary has been in the travel business since 1997 and is a specialist in both cruise and river vacations. A solo traveler herself, Rosemary is a certified agent for all of the popular cruise lines and has sailed on almost all of them. Hi, Rosemary. Welcome to RTE Travel Talk.
Hi, Ken. Glad to be here.
Great to have you with us, Rosemary. So, Rosemary, one of the questions that we're starting to get a lot from our viewers and subscribers and on the podcast channel is inquiries about solo travel, especially coming for the first time cruisers. With the aging population that we've got, we're getting to the point where a lot of people are losing their lifetime travel partner. And of course, you can also travel solo at any age. So today I'd like to kind of pick your brain a little bit about your knowledge and advice on this growing trend. So talking about solo travel in growing in popularity. How does that sound?
Great. I most certainly see it growing. As you said,
Mm-hmm.
losing a partner is more prevalent now in the age range of the 60 plus.
Right.
So these people are still active and they want to travel. They have the time and the money to do so. And they don't want to wait around for a friend or to go when they can go. They want to go on their own time into where they want to go,
No,
to what they
exactly.
want to see.
Yeah. So you're seeing more and more of it, right?
Yes, most
Yeah.
definitely.
When I think about solo cruising, for example, Rosemary, is it safe for
Oh,
somebody to go off by
yes.
themselves?
Yes. I think it's safer than just going somewhere by yourself. You're in a
Mm-hmm.
group, you have people who are checking on you all the time. But like anywhere you go, you have to be aware of your surroundings. So
Right.
you shouldn't put yourself in a position that would be compromising.
Right on. Right
Like,
on.
if you wouldn't go out walking in a big city at 3 a.m. in the morning, don't do that on a cruise ship. That sort of thing. Just
Common
be
sense.
careful.
Right. Common
Yes,
sense.
that's it.
So you mentioned, being in a group. When you say being in a group, do you mean like being in a group of people, a whole bunch of other people on board the ship, or part of an actual group that you may be traveling with that are also solo travel? How does that work?
Well, either or. I mean, there's always people around you on the ship, so you don't have to be afraid of being alone. And anywhere you go, to the dining room, to the theater, there's going to be people around you.
One of the questions I get a lot is, do I have to share my stateroom?
Definitely not. If you're in a group per se of people going on the cruise together, they
Right.
may offer you the opportunity to share a room at a reduced rate or
Right.
like at the normal rate, because often you have to pay a single supplement to be in a room on your own.
Right.
But a lot of people think it's worth it.
So let's take a minute and define for our viewers and listeners what exactly a single supplement means, Rosemary.
Okay, on a cruise ship, they have the opportunity to sell any room as a double. So they're making double the income. If
Right.
you take a room as a single, they're losing that income. So they will add a single supplement, add extra to the cost. Sometimes it's up to 100%. So you would pay double for the room.
Right.
However, a lot of time there are promotions on or that allow you to pay less than the 100% or the
And that's
double the rate.
that right. So at certain times a year you could pay the single rate plus 25% of the additional
Yeah.
unoccupied portion.
Yes.
So what about dining? Like, if you're traveling solo, do you dine alone?
Well, for breakfast and lunch, unless you go to the main dining room and they seat you at a table with other people,
Right.
you're on your own. But I have found that I'll just sit down at a table and anybody who's beside me, I'll just start chatting. Or people will come along and say, "Are these seats taken?" And they'll sit down with you. I've had that happen a lot of time. And people will see me the next day or throughout the cruise. "Oh, hi, how are you? Can we sit and have lunch with you?" That happens a lot.
So I gather, Rosemary, Mary, from talking to you, you traveled solo yourself quite a number of times?
Yes, many times. Many times.
Okay.
When I was much younger and
Yep.
single, And now that I've lost my partner, I've traveled on my own also.
Right on,
Cruises.
right on. Are there activities on board cruise ships for that cater to singles or solo travelers?
Not necessarily cater to singles, but they don't cater to couples. So anything that's going on the ship is open to everybody.
Okay,
So if they did happen to have something like I've seen the newlywed game, those would be couples, but there's
right,
always people in the crowd watching it and laughing and joining in. So it's good entertainment. There's always something to do on the ship, and you don't have to be in a couple to do it.
right on, right on. It's kind of a sad situation talking about traveling after the loss of your lifetime partner, but I don't know. I don't really know how to phrase this, but you know, is I other than say, is it good for the soul, like to do that?
Yes, I think so. I mean, I love travel. That's why
Hmm.
I'm in
Yeah,
this industry. It's a good anticipation to know that you're going away. I
right,
always anticipate coming home,
right,
but I just love traveling and meeting new people. There's other people that you'll find that are single on the ships, and you tend to just if you meet them, you tend to congregate. Let's meet for dinner tonight. Do you want to go to the show at 7? I'll meet you there. That sort of thing.
okay, okay. So it becomes kind of a really nice thing.
You have your own time, but you don't have, and you can spend time with others.
Right on, right on. What about if you encounter a problem on board, like a health issue or something like that?
They have like a little mini hospital on board the ship. They have
Hmm.
doctors and nurses. So if anything should happen, you could go there and get that taken care of. If you have something that's not right on board, you can go to the guest services and they'll help you.
Right,
And a good thing too is if you book your cruise and you book their air and their transfers, then once you leave your home city, they're responsible. So if your flights are late, they know you're going to be late and they make every arrangement to hold the ship until you can get there. And if you do happen to miss it, which I've never had that happen to any of my clients, they're responsible to get you to the next port of call. And also, the room stewards are very good at keeping an eye on you and knowing when you're in and out. So if anything should happen, you just have to kind of stick your head out and yell of you,
okay.
and they'll come running.
So what you're telling me is, if you are traveling solo, the crew and the people that are on board, I mean, in particular your room stewards, are keeping an eye out for you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They'll say, "Oh, where have you been all day? I haven't seen you." Or "You were out late last night."
So they
So
do.
yeah, they do
So
kind of
they
keep
they
an eye on
they
you.
go out of they so they go out of their way to make you feel comfortable.
Most definitely. Oh yeah. They're always
Fantastic.
saying good morning, good evening, how was your day, that sort of thing.
Are there cruises or cruise lines that cater in particular to solo travelers that you use most often,
Not that
Rosemary?
I'm aware of. There are groups that you can join in your local areas for people that want to travel together.
Right.
There's also we have a website is www.singlecruises.com, and
Okay.
you can
Yes.
join in on a cruise with them. They cover a lot of different cruise lines and itineraries. It's not necessarily that you're going to be hanging out with these people all the time, but
Right.
they will have a cocktail party or some events on board that you can join in on. And if you happen to meet somebody that you get along with, you can hang out with them.
Right.
But I couldn't guarantee you that there's an even number of women or men or young or old people within this group. It's not to match you up.
But okay, yeah. So let's explore that just a little bit. Singlecruises.com is not, the first thing that comes to mind for me is, oh my gosh, it's a dating cruise. But that's not really what it's all about. It's more or less about getting people that are single or traveling solo to come on board. And if relationships spring up from that, so be it. But it's not really a dating cruise, right?
Oh, definitely not.
That's a good place then, probably for people that they want to travel solo, but they may possibly want to be as part of a group that are also traveling solo.
Yes, and also ask your travel agent if they are escorting any groups. They would gather different people and book them into their own group. It
Right.
isn't necessarily that you have other singles in that group, but there would be other people from your area traveling. They'll have at least a cocktail party one evening, if not more. And if you ask to dine together, then you can, which is also something I missed with the dining question. They have open seating dining. And if you pick that, then when you go in, the maitre d' will ask you if you want to sit alone, if you would like to join another table, and they'll sit you at a table until it's full, and then you're dining with other people. And this has worked out fairly well. I've had that happen where I've met the same people a couple nights, which is nice.
Right. So you got the option to dine alone or to dine with other people.
I always found that when I traveled with my husband, I'd love to meet other people. Because I got tired of his stories because I'd heard them many times.
That
So other couples are probably in the same situation where they would love to talk to somebody different.
Yeah, so that everybody gets together and the men tell lies and the women there just sit there and listen, thinking, "Yeah, we heard that before. Heard that before."
Yeah, yeah.
You mentioned groups. Is it better to see if you can travel as part of a group?
It doesn't matter, but
Yeah,
like say you're example a quilter, you love to quilt. There
right.
might be somebody out there who has a quilting group, and you can take your materials and everything with you, and you'd probably get together sometime every day and do quilting and chit chat and everything. And the same with other interests.
So that comes down to having probably the value of having a great travel advisor in your corner to help source out those interests and those groups that may possibly be out there, right?
Almost definitely. I would always advise people, especially now after COVID, to travel through a travel agent, a specialist, because you got somebody who has your back. If you
Right.
get stuck somewhere, they know how to get you out of there. You're
Yeah.
not sitting there alone and not knowing what to do.
And that makes a whole lot more sense, especially if you're traveling solo, right?
Most
Yeah.
definitely.
What do you think are the best opportunities for solo travel? Is an ocean cruise better for solo or a river cruise for traveler?
Well, especially for a first timer, I might suggest a river cruise.
Okay. Why is
Only
that?
because they're smaller. They're much smaller. There's 150 maybe people on the cruise. You're going to see the same people all the time.
Right.
You have a better opportunity of sitting with somebody at a different table every night. They also have what they call a captain's table, is where if there are singles on board, they'll sit them all together, and
Okay.
then you'll just say, okay, let's all dine tomorrow night or something.
Right.
Or when you walk by, they'll say, Rosemary, come join us. Your tours are included, so everybody's going on the same tours pretty much. They have a cocktail hour before dinner. You go into the lounge and you sit down with wherever there's an empty seat and you meet people.
Oh, great.
So
Great.
I think that I think that's a good place to start. River cruise people are very friendly and want to share their experiences.
Exactly. Exactly. And as I recall, and would you agree with me that in the whole scheme of things, and we're looking at promotions throughout the year, it seems like the river cruise lines are the ones that come out with the most promotions for a reduced single supplement or even a complete waiver of it.
Yes, especially with river cruises, it's best to book early because they'll have a limited number of rooms that'll sell as a single without a supplement,
Right.
just a single rate,
Right.
and you can get those booked. They're usually the least expensive on the ship.
Are there any advantages into cruising solo versus perhaps taking a guided tour by yourself?
The real advantage is in cruising itself. You get on the ship, you only unpack once. That's one advantage. The other one too is that I have been on on trips where there's certain people on it that you just don't like, and you're with them every day.
Yeah.
And on a cruise ship, you don't have to see them.
And I'm not sure that we touched on it, but I have to say one of my peeves on that I hate on a guided tour is packing and unpacking all the time, almost every
Yes.
day.
And getting up
Drives.
at 6:30 in the morning to get on a bus to
Yep.
go wherever.
Yep.
Where you're on a cruise ship, you get up whenever you want.
Yep.
It's your own timetable.
Much better way to go. Rosemary, this is super information, especially for those folks who are looking to travel solo for the first time. If folks wanted to reach out to you about a possible solo cruise or a group that you might have going now or in the future, what's the best way to do that?
Well, either by email,
Mm-hmm.
which I see that's just gone along the bottom, but I'll
Right.
give it to you. It's Rosemary at cruiseholidaysoakville.com.
Okay.
Or you can telephone the office directly at
Right.
905 337 2228.
Okay.
Or you can go to our website at www.cruiseholidaysoakville.com and you'll get all that information there also.
Perfect. Perfect. One thing I always like to ask my guests is because part of what you do to stay up on things is travel is where are you off to next?
I'm hoping to either go in the fall or on a cruise, or perhaps to Tanzania and Kenya on a safari.
Hey, hey.
So, yeah. So, although we are cruise specialists, we also do land packages and those sort of specific tours.
Yeah.
And I also specialize in custom Italy tours.
Oh, fantastic.
So, if, yeah, anyone's interested in that, I can put those together for you.
That sounds like a plan. Well, I have to tell you that an African safari is on Deb and I's bucket list. But after you've done that African safari, we're going to have to have you back to regale us with all your adventures in Africa. Sound like a plan?
For sure.
All right. Well, with that, Rosemary, I'm just going to wish you safe and happy travels. May on all your future cruises and vacations, may the wind always be at your back. And I hope to see you on a Lido deck real soon.
I hope to be there.
Take care.
Thank you so much.
And that about wraps it up for today, folks. A very special thanks to my guest, Rosemary Bartello of Cruise Holidays of Oakville. If you'd like to reach Rosemary, I will leave her contact information in the description. If you'd like to reach us, simply send a question to questions@realtravelexperts.com, visit our website, realtravelexperts.com, or leave a comment. We always respond. And as always, folks, if you enjoyed this content, a like, subscribe, and a ring of the bell is certainly appreciated and helps us to spread the word. So until next time, happy travels!